Hello and thank you for joining us to this short introductory video on the Honda Gb350s. Now before we go into this wonderful machine, there's a couple of things I'd like to share with you. Firstly is how attractive the price point is. Now it's difficult to comprehend how a bike with all the tech that we're going to be talking about very, very shortly has come in at such an attractive price. Second point is where this bike is actually built. Now this comes out of the same factory in Japan where Goldwing, Fireblade, Africa Twin, our most premium bikes actually are built. So not only is it a great price, it's built in Japan. Now of course, I'm going to start with the front of the bike. And I see here that we've got a 19-inch wheel right up front, and that is going to give great sort of ease of riding use there. So it's going to give you a nice bit of confidence in the front of the bike. And now nestling inside that 19-inch wheel is a 310mm front disc. This bike has dual channel ABS, so obviously front and rear discs are talking to each other, again giving you that confidence that you've got sure-footed grip and also braking front and rear. Now the wheel is attached to these 41mm forks up front, and they're right way up forks with these gear gaiters. Now they do offer some protection for what would have been the exposed area there, but I think you'll agree it looks lovely on this type of retro modern machine. Just up from there, we have a traditionally round headlight. However, the elements inside are bang up to date. They're LED, so making sure you've got great visibility and that you're seen, making sure that you're as safe as possible. And on that point, the indicators when you're riding, they actually become position markers. So they will be illuminated in orange when you're riding along, just again to make sure that you're highly visible. Then when we move from the headlight to the meter, just on top of it, again we've kept that circular design in there, and we've brought two different levels of technology together in one unit. So what we have is our speedo is analog, so it gives that nice sweeping speed with an orange needle on there, very, very retro. But nestled into the corner, just in that bottom right hand corner, you've got digital display as well. So you've got all that key information on the right hand side of the meter as well. When we get to the handlebars, you've got a really nice riding position laid out for you. I would really urge you to get a test ride on one of these so you can try that out for yourself. Now, the switchgear is typically Honda. It's easy to use, easy to operate, and exactly where you want it to be, nice and close at hand. The mirrors giving really good visibility, and they have that chrome detailing on there as well, just to give it that sort of retro modern look running through the machine itself. Now should you want to, you can turn off Honda selectable torque control. That's our version of traction control, and that's selectable through the switchgear here as well. You get a little indication that you've turned it off just in the meter up front for you. From the side, the first thing you're probably going to notice is this fuel tank. So some lovely curves on here, and importantly, the capacity is 15 litres, making sure there's no unnecessary stops for fuel. Now, of course, the heart of this bike is in the engine and the transmission, just sitting underneath the fuel tank. So this is a 348cc single cylinder engine, and it's got a really characterful exhaust note as well. But let's talk about some of the details on this. Now, it is air-cooled, and I did mention it's made in Japan, and we've got really good attention to detail here. So this being air-cooled, these fins are going to be instrumental in keeping the motor at a temperature that it needs to be. And there's been a lot of work gone into the thickness of the fins, but also the gap between them. And what our design team have done is achieved a 10% reduction in overall heat of the motor, making it more efficient. Also, from an efficiency point of view, we've got an offset cylinder. Now you might be thinking, it's a single. How can it be an offset cylinder? What we mean is it's offset to the crank, only by 10mm, but that means when we've got that power stroke going forcing down onto the engine, delivering that power. This has got 15.5 kilowatts at 5,500 revs, and also torque is at a really low 3,000 revs. It's got 29 newton meters of torque. We've got less internal friction because of that offset cylinder. A lot of work's gone in that you can't see from the outside. Also, with a long stroke single cylinder, you can get a couple of different types of vibrations from the motor. Now, some of those are desirable because it gives you a nice characterful feel of the engine and also that exhaust note. But some of them are not necessarily so desirable. So what our R&D team have done is they've given it a main shaft coaxial balancer. What does that mean? Well, I don't know how it does it, but what it means is it's taken away those unwanted, those undesirable internal vibrations. So it's still got the character, but it's nice and smooth to ride. Now, when you match that up to the 5-speed transmission, which is quite wide ratio, you can use that torque that peaks at 3,000, or you can chase the revs a little more if you want to, but 5th gear has been set up to give you a really usable gear, so you don't have to be switching up and down the gears. Also, on the gears, we have some really high-tech clutch system in there. So we have the Honda Assist slipper clutch inside there. What does that mean? Well, if you didn't have one of those and you were a bit eager going down the gearbox, you have the potential to lock up that rear wheel. But with the Assist slipper clutch, that's not going to happen. So that's inside there, making sure that we've got a really nice transmission, a nice light clutch as well, and that you're safer when it comes to downshifting. Now, if we move to the back of the bike, this is where I get my best angle, my best view at this 800mm seat. So it's fairly flat, you'll see from your angle there, slightly raised for the pillion, but it's a great place to be. That's going to suit a lot of customers. 800mm, as I say, is the seat height, and just down from those, we've actually got these twin shock absorbers. Preload is adjustable on those if you want to make it perfect for your individual riding style, or whether you've got luggage on there, whether you've got a pillion on there as well. From this angle, I've got a really good view of the exhaust and the silencer. In fact, the whole system. Now, I did mention that inherently that single cylinder engine is quite characterful. Now, to make sure that you can hear that character, what we've done, we've got a double skinned downpipe, and inside the exhaust or the muffler, we've actually got a single chamber. So you will get a lovely deep bass note coming out of that. Right at the tail end of the bike itself, we've got more LED lighting. So your stop and tail light is LED, as are your indicators at the back of the bike, making sure everybody knows where you are and your intention of where you're going. And there we have it, the Honda Gb350s. Now, if you'd like to know more about this fantastic bike, then head over to honda.co.uk, where you can find your local dealer. You can book yourself a test ride, and we hope that you will enjoy this as much